And on that third or fourth rock, you're going to come into Navasana, boat pose. Hands can start at the backs of your knees to get your balance. Drawing your shoulder blades down the back and together, and then squeezing the inner thighs together. Reach your arms forward towards the outer edges of the feet once you find that balance, or if you need to, hands can stay at the backs of the thighs. And then you're going to tap the toes right to left. Keep the tone of your lower belly as you move. Always breathing. Three more times for 2. Last tap. Cross your ankles on the mat, plant your palms in front of you, and step back to high plank pose. So we're starting with shoulders stacked over the wrists, pressing into all 10 of your fingers, especially rooting down into your pointer finger and your thumb, and then wagging your hips really gently side to side. So there's a sense of length through head and heels, keeping those hips slightly lifted as you move your hips right to left. Move the sides of the waist up and back to downward facing dog. And then step that right foot all the way up to the space between your hands. We're going to straighten and bend that front knee. So coming up onto your fingertips, that right leg or right hip pulls back, and that right knee straightens and bends. Next time that front knee comes to a bend, bring your back knee all the way down to the floor, and sweep those arms out wide, coming up into a nice big wingspan. Pressing your hips forward, lifting up through the chest. Exhale, hands release all the way down to frame your front foot. Step back to high plank pose. This time we're going to take it all the way down onto the belly. Elbows hug in tight, bring it all the way down to the floor. Press down to lift up into a cobra pose. And we're going to lift and lower. So rolling up and down the spine, keeping your feet pressing down, your hips pressing down, and that tight engagement through your lower belly. Soft through the neck and the shoulders. One more time to roll up, trashing those hands back towards your hips to draw the chest forward, and then roll over the toes, send the sides of the waist up and back, downward facing dog. Step that left foot all the way up in between your hands, straighten and bend your front leg. Stay active through your back leg, so that back leg stays pretty much like a permanent fixture in space. And you can lift that front heel off of the floor, and that's going to help to activate your calf muscle as well, or rather lift your front ball of the foot off of the floor. Bend into that front knee, let your back knee come down and sweep those arms all the way up. Just one long breath to find the space, the lift. Release the hands all the way back down to frame your front foot. Step back to high plank pose. Lower all the way down onto your belly. Again, we're going to lift and lower into those cobra poses. This time you're going to use your feet as well. Feet heels towards glutes. And then press the feet down as you lift up into your cobra pose. See if you can really activate the back of your legs. Closer you can bring your glutes to your heels, or rather your heels towards your glutes, the better. One more time, lower all the way down. Press and lift. Lower all the way back down onto your forehead, and let's bring it to the top of a push-up. Pressing down to rise all the way up, hips back, downward facing dog. Looking to the top of the mat. Step, walk, or jump your feet to meet your hands and find your half lift. Exhale, release to your forward fold. Then rise all the way to stand, arms sweep up to frame your ears. Interlace all but your forefinger, cross your thumb, squeeze your legs together. Lean all of your weight over towards the right, pressing out through your left hip. Left shoulder draws back, Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. And then bring it all the way back to center, opposite side, pressing out through your right hip. Arms reach up and over towards the left. Back to center, add your back bend, elbows bend, hips lift up towards the base of your ribs as you curl the chest open, gaze goes up. And then arms sweep all the way back up to frame your ears. Exhale, fold all the way back down to the floor. Inhale, hands to the shins, half lift. Exhale, clench your palms, step back. This time we take traditional chaturanga pose. Lower slowly on a count of 5 until you're halfway down. 4, 3, keep reaching back through your heels. 2, on 1, slide back. Tops of the feet come to the floor for upward dog, so hips are off of the mat. And then roll over your toes, hips back, downward facing dog. Inhale, take that right leg up and back. Exhale, curl your right knee in towards your chest, and we're going to tick-tock that right knee in and out. So we're going to take this into an interval. We're going to do that for 50 seconds. Right to left, that knee is swinging side to side. Keep breathing, pressing up and out of the joints of your shoulders. And as much as possible, that left hip stays fixed in place. So you're not letting the left hip move, it's just the right hip side to side. See if you can get a little bit more steady. Activate that right heel towards right glute. You've got 30 seconds left. Almost there, home stretch. See if you can make that movement maybe a little bit bigger without that left hip moving. Always the option to bring that left knee down if it feels like you're doing too much work in your arms. 10 seconds. We're going to take it through vinyasa in 5, 3, 1. Step that right foot back. Lower it halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra pose. Exhale, hips back to downward facing dog. Right leg goes up and back. Reach those toes towards that back corner of the room. Then curl the knee in towards your chest. Step all the way through. Let's find warrior one. Back heel spins to the floor. Arms reach all the way up. Maybe palms come to press. Bending deeper into that front knee as you press your right big toe forward and you anchor into that back heel. Steady, one more big inhale. Side body length. Fingers reaching up. Exhale, hands release all the way down to the floor. Step back. Take it high to low. If you want to add a push-up, you can. Upward facing dog or cobra pose. Hips back, downward facing dog. Curl that left knee in towards your chest, roll forward. 50 seconds, we're gonna take that left knee, tick-tock it in and out. Soften the neck and the shoulders, but keep that core nice and stable. High on the ball of your back foot. See if you can keep your breath steady even as the heart rate starts to pick up, even as the body starts to fatigue. More than halfway done, you've got 20 seconds left. Best you can, keep moving, 10 seconds. Crossing the body right to left. 3, 2, 1. Step that foot back. Take it high to low. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, hips back, downward facing dog. Take that left leg sky high, point the toes, reach it towards the ceiling. Then curl the knee in towards the chest, step through. Warrior one, again, back heel spins to the floor. Arms reach all the way up. Anchor into the center of your back heel. Traction that right inner thigh forward as you bend into your front knee. See if you can use your breath to find that steadiness, that slowing back down. One more big breath in, find that reach. Exhale, hands release all the way down to frame your front foot. Step back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward dog. Exhale, hips back, downward facing dog. Looking forward to the top of the mat, step, walk, jump the feet to meet the hands, find your half lift. Exhale, release to your forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way to stand, sweep those arms all the way up. Interlace all but your forefinger, crush your thumbs, move those arm bones back again. Lean it over towards the right, Ardha Chandrasana. Back to center, switch it out, side number 2. Keep reaching down, especially through that right foot. Squeeze the inner thighs together, frontal hip points lift. Inhale, back to center, elbows bend, hips forward, chest lifts, curl open. One more big breath in, take the gaze up, lift your chest like there was a little string attached. Arms reach back up to frame your ears. Exhale, sit back into chair pose. So weight comes into your heels, squeeze the legs together, lift your chest. If it feels like you're doing a lot of work in your shoulders, you might bring your hands in front of your heart. See if you can challenge the work of those upper legs. So you should feel this in the glutes, the quadriceps, the belly. One more big breath in. Exhale, hands lower all the way down to the floor. Let's step it back, coming into your high plank pose. We're gonna take 50 seconds to do our mountain climbers. Right to left. Now you could do this without a hop in between, or you can make it a little bit more dynamic. Right to left. Find the pace that allows you to stay with it for the whole time. Start to take the legs over to the right. Keep driving those knees forward and up. Bring it back to center. Driving the knees towards the opposite elbow. 20 seconds left, take it over towards the left. Back to center, you've got 10 seconds left. Vinyasa in 5, 3, 1. Exhale, lower halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, hips back, downward facing dog. Take a breath in, sweep that right leg up and back. Step the right foot all the way through. This time, warrior 2. Spin your back foot out, arms reach out over your legs. Steady gaze over that front middle finger as you sink a little deeper into that front thigh. Take a moment to dig a little deeper. Find a little bit more of a squeeze in your right glute as you reach through your fingertips from the center of your chest. One more deep breath in. And deep breath out. Hands come to the back of the head. We're going to flow it front to back, and I'll change my direction just so you guys can see me a little bit better. Hands are at the back of the head, and you're going to take your right elbow towards your right knee. Using your obliques, outer abs, bring it back to center. Tilt that left elbow towards the back of the mat, lift your right elbow up. So you should feel this along the sides of the body, the outer body, as well as along the sides of your core. Don't lose your legs, so keep bending into that front knee and anchor into the pinky edge of your back foot. Again, this is always an opportunity to build the practice that you want. Slow and controlled is going to allow you to focus more on building strength. If you pick up the pace, it's going to add an element of aerobic exercise. So picking up your heart rate. Maybe that elbow actually touches your front knee, kisses it. Maybe that back elbow is like halfway towards touching the outer back thigh. Nice work. Bring those arms back out over your legs, straighten your front leg. And then we're going to take that right arm forward like you were coming into a Trikonasana pose. Right hand comes down to the inside of that right foot. Left arm is reaching up towards the sky. Squeeze those inner thighs towards one another. Pull your right hip crease back and lengthen the right side of your waist. Inhale, back arm is going to lift you all the way up. Arms come back out over your legs. Front knee bends. Again, we're going to go slow and controlled on this one. Front leg straightens. Reach that right arm forward. Slowly take the right arm down. So you've got the moves. This is what we're going for. Nothing changes in the legs until you're all the way up, and then you're bending into that front leg. Keep moving back to front. 2 more times. Remember that right hip crease pulling back is key. One more time. Front leg straightens. Reach it forward. Right hand comes down to the inside of that right leg. Inhale, arms come all the way back out over your legs. Straighten that front leg and turn your right toes in. Hands come behind your back. Press the hips forward, lift the chest, lift the gaze. And then exhale, hinge at your hips and fold forward, releasing the crown of the head down towards the floor. Maybe hands come to the back of the skull, or maybe you're reaching for opposite elbows. Take a little sway here, right to left. All right, we're going to circle forward towards that front leg. So you're coming to the right leg. You're going to draw a circle all the way up to stand. You can start with those feet wide, but we're going to start to take it in and out into a jumping jack. So if you want, you can set the feet together to start. We're going to open and close. So take it all the way up. Find the pace that makes sense for you. Option to stick with a simple jumping jack or 3 jumping jacks. And then drive those knees into center. Stay with it. 20 seconds left. 10 seconds. 5, 3, last one. Hop those feet wide. Turn your toes towards 10 into a clock. Let your pelvis drop down, bend your knees towards the direction of your toes. And you can use your hands to help press those knees wide. Let your right shoulder drop in. Let your left shoulder pull back. Sink those sits bones down towards the floor. Bring it back to center. Side number 2, left shoulder in, right shoulder back. Soften the neck. Nice, bring it back to center. Let's lift it all the way up, legs straighten. Turn those toes forward, arms reach all the way up. Exhale, fold it all the way back down to the floor. You're gonna pivot back towards the top of the mat. So take it to your lunge. Take your right leg straight back behind you. We're gonna pulse that right leg out to the side. So keeping bottom ribs drawing in, active flex of your right foot, and that right heel kicks out to the side and back to center. Always the option to bring that left knee to the floor if it starts to feel like it's too much in your arms. Should feel this on the outside of that right glute a lot. Stay with it. 10 seconds. 3, 2, on 1, bring it back to center. Option to keep that right heel lifted if you'd like. You're gonna take it through a 1 or a 2-legged chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, hips back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts up sky high. Step the left foot through, let's come to warrior 1. Rather, warrior 2, sorry. Back heel spins out. Arms come out over your legs. Steady gaze over your front middle finger. So taking a moment to land and to be really, really still. Yes, breath. Keep bending into that front knee. Hands come to the back of the head. Slow and controlled, we're taking it front to back. Left elbow lowers down towards that front knee. Maybe it actually taps without lifting your back anchor, the outer edge of that back foot. The challenge is to find the full expression of movement. That's when you're gonna really get into that core challenge. So if moving fast makes you sloppy, take your time. Keep squeezing, especially that left booty cheek. Nice work, 2 more. Take it all the way back. And then bring it back to center, arms back out over your legs, front leg straightens. Reaching forward for Trikonasana, lengthening that left side body. Thinking about it being this kind of slow and controlled action. And then lifting it all the way back up again, slowly bending into that front knee. Finding that 90-degree angle. Magnetize those inner thighs. One more time, lift it all the way back up. Bend that front knee. Straighten your front leg and pivot your toes. Nice work. All right, toes are facing forward. Your hips are going low and back, and you're gonna drive your knees right to left. So taking it low, side to side. Option to add a little hop in between. Remember, you wanna get low, pelvis low and back. Remember, pelvis goes back, chest goes forward. Lift it up, run it out in place. Knees high. Stay with it. Turn it to the right. Keep going. Turn it to the back edge of your mat. Turn it towards the short edge. Back to the front, fast as you can go. 5, 3, 1. Step those feet back wide. Turn the toes towards 10 and 2 o'clock. Drop the pelvis low again. Lean it over towards your right leg. Bring it back to center, lean it over towards your left leg. Bring it back to center, almost like you were doing cat-cow. Scoop your tailbone down wide into your upper back. Then let your tailbone wide back behind you and draw your chest forward. One more like that. Tailbone scoops, look down. Spread the collarbones, look forward, tailbone back. Inhale, straighten your legs. Pivot those toes to face forward. Arms sweep up. Exhale, fold all the way back down to the floor. Pivot to face forward. You're gonna step it back. Left leg is gonna stay up. And you're gonna pulse that left heel out to the side. So left foot is the height of your left hip. And you're feeling this on the outside of your left glute. Closing off through that front body. So if you start to splay those ribs, draw them in. Stay with it. 5, 3. Last one, back to center. Maybe keep that left heel lifted as you take it through your chaturanga. Both feet down for upward dog. Hips back to heels. Take it to child's pose for a moment. Let your forehead come to rest on the floor. Take a little movement of your hips right to left. Take a big breath up the back of your body. And exhale it out through your nose. Slide those arms forward. Let's come to puppy pose. So toes are curled under. Hips are lining up directly over top of your knees. Arms are coming far enough forward that they're straight. Your forearms are down, but not your upper arm. Drop your forehead, your chest, maybe your chin comes to the mat. And then lift those sits bones way up towards the sky. Nice work. Lift those forearms up. Take them underneath of your arms, or rather underneath of your shoulders. Curl your toes under, and you're gonna step it right to left. Little steps side to side. Option to stay with this, or jumping jack the knees in and out. Keep it going. Keep those knees bent so that they're down near the floor. Just hovering. Bring it to stillness in the center. Circle your knees in right to left. See if you can tap your right knee towards your right elbow, left knee towards left elbow with that little circle action. Knees come to touch. Drop your knees right to left. Try not to leave your pelvis too much. It's just the knees. Belly draws up and in. Cat-cow, knees down. Let your belly drop, tailbone lift, shoulders draw together, look forward and up. Exhale to round it out. 2 more rounds. Use your breath. Nice work. Last one, hold that round. Press and widen through the space of your shoulders. Let your tailbone scoop down towards the floor. Gaze goes towards the navel. Curl those toes under. Lift your knees off of the floor. Take the hips up and back. Come to downward facing dog. Looking forward to the top of the mat. Step, walk, or jump the feet to meet the hands. Come into your half lift. Bend your knees, sink it back, coming into your chair pose. Arms reach all the way up to frame your ears. Rise all the way to stand, hips forward, elbows bend. Lift your chest, lift your gaze. Nice work. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, take it down halfway so that you're coming into your Utkatasana pose. You're gonna drive it all the way onto your back. So roll it onto your back, then bring your weight forward and stand all the way up. Option to stick with this. Taking it all the way back, Knees in towards chest, hips forward. Or option to hop it up at the top. Bringing feet to the floor, arms up like a little pencil. Knees in towards chest. Take it up, arms up, spring off those toes. Land it light. Always the option to just lift and drive your pelvis forward. Speed doesn't matter. Stay with it. You've got 3 more. 2. You're gonna land on your back, taking a child's pose, dropping your knees down wide, pressing the base of your pelvis down if you can, taking a little rock side to side. Maybe straightening the legs into your hands, reaching through your heels. And then bring your hands to the backs of your knees, rock and roll it forward. We're gonna step back to downward dog. If you wanna take a little vinyasa along the way, you can. High to low plank. From downward facing dog, inhale, right leg goes up and back. Exhale, right foot steps through. Warrior 2 again. Arms reach out over your legs. Bending into that front thigh as you reach through your fingers. One more big breath, sink a little lower into that front thigh. Let's revolve it. Left hand to the back of your left thigh. Right arm reaches up and over. Exhale, circle those hands down to frame your front foot. Straighten your front leg, pull your right hip crease back. Step your back foot in, so you're setting yourself up for pyramid pose. Lengthening the sides of the waist, folding forward over your front leg. Releasing your forehead down towards your shin. Bring the weight forward into your right foot. Straighten your right leg, lift your left leg straight back behind you, and pulse that left heel up. Option to keep your hands on the floor, or hands can come to that front shin. Activate that left leg, and I want you to feel the pulse in your hamstring and your glute rather than your lower back, so it's a really small action. Curl that knee in towards your chest, rise all the way to stand, interlacing your fingers around the outside of that left shin, pressing down into your standing leg. Rising up nice and tall. And then take a giant step back into a lunge. Sweep those arms up to frame your ears. And you're gonna bend and straighten that back leg, slow and controlled. Try to keep your front leg from straightening, so it's just the back leg. Last one, straighten that back leg, reach your arms up, high on the ball of your back foot, and then lean it forward, hands in front of your chest. You're gonna drive that left knee in and back. So drive your knee towards chest, and then extending that leg straight back behind you. Nothing changes in your right leg. Keep it going. Almost there. 5, 3, last one. Step those feet together at the top of the mat, sweep those arms all the way up. Exhale, fold all the way down to the floor. Find your half lift. Plant your palms, step it back, take it high to low. Add a push-up or 2 if you'd like. Upward facing dog and downward facing dog. Step the left foot all the way through, warrior 2, second side. Arms out over your legs. Steady that gaze over your front middle finger. Deepen the bend in the front knee as you reach. Revolve your warrior, back hand lowers. Left palm flips face up, reach it up and back. Bring your hands down to frame your front foot. Straighten your front leg and step your back foot in. Pyramid pose prep. Left hip pulls back, right hip pulls forward. Side body lengthens. Fold it over that front leg. Relax your neck and your shoulders. Inhale. Let's take it forward. Right leg goes straight back behind you to the height of the hip, and you're pulsing that right foot up. Really, really small action. In fact, you want to almost create some resistance, the squeeze of the glute in the back of the leg, so it feels like the action can't get any bigger. It's going to give your muscles a lot more of a workout. Maybe hands come to that front left shin. Left hip crease pulls back. Pull your left hip into center. Take a giant step back. Land in your high lunge pose. Keep the bend in your front knee and pulse that back knee down. Maybe it comes close to actually kissing the floor. And then straightens all the way back out. Centering shoulders over top of hips as you reach through your fingers. Nice work. 3, 2. Last one, straighten that back leg. One more big breath in. And then step that, or rather, hands in front of your chest. You're going to drive that back knee in. Right knee in towards hands. Try to stay anchored in that left big toe. Almost there. 5, 3, 1. Step that back foot forward, arms sweep all the way up. Exhale, hands down in front of your heart. Squeeze those inner thighs, take your hips all the way down towards your heels. And then you're going to take it all the way down onto your back. So last portion of the practice before we get into the yin stuff is a nice long core sequence. So let's bring it all the way down to the floor. Hands either come underneath of your glutes. This is the best option to make sure that you're not cheating. No rounding, or rather, no arching your back off of the floor. We want a hollow body in the front body. More challenge, hands next to the sides. Most challenge, arms up above your head. And we're gonna scissor kick those legs down. We're lowering only as much as you can lower without your lower back lifting. And then scissor kick all the way back up. Hike your hips off of the floor at the top. Upper back is relaxed. There can be a tendency to puff your belly button out. I want you to draw the navel back towards the spine. Steady with your breath. 5 more. Try to drive those feet straight up. Don't let the hips lift over, or rather the ankles over the hips. 2 more. Almost there. Last one. Bring those knees down, or rather feet down to a hover. Lift your head and your shoulders, arms reach forward. Keep that foot jab with your feet. And then flutter kick. Foot jive. And flutter kick. 2 more. Hands to the back of the head, drive those knees and those elbows together, and then extend without letting the head and shoulders come all the way down. Should be burning now, that's what we're looking for. Keep going. Best you can, press the back of your pelvis down. 3 more. Last one. Draw those knees in towards your chest. Make a circle in one direction with your knees. Opposite way. Hands to the back of your head. We're going to take bicycles right to left. Knees over hips, feet are actively flexed. Start slow, side to side. Try to bring your elbow more towards your knee than your knee towards your elbow. Double time if you like, right to left. 5, 3, 1. Head and shoulders down. Press down into your feet to lift the pelvis up. Let's come back into that bridge pose. Walk those arms underneath of you. Interlace your fingers. Reach your knuckles towards your heels. And then roll your chest up towards your chin without letting your chin drop to your chest. One more big breath in. And then release those arms out to the sides. Draw your knees in towards your chest so that they're stacked over top of your hips. Active flex of your feet. Squeeze the legs together. And you're going to drop your knees right to left without letting them come all the way down to the floor. So that bottom leg is supporting the top leg. Option to keep those legs straight if you'd like as you move it right to left. Don't let those shoulders lift off of the floor. So find an option that you can sustain. Bring those legs back to center, hands next to your sides, hips lift, slide the legs over to the right, and drop them towards the floor. Back to center. Lift those hips, slide it over to the left, and back to center. Sweep it all the way over to the left, and all the way over to the right. Legs are gonna sweep side to side. Press down into your palms to help with that lift. One more time, bring those legs back to center. Pulsing arms up towards the outer edges of your feet. Active flex, toes down towards the face, heels towards the sky. Almost there. Cross it right to left. Nice work. Release, arms out to the sides. Let your knees drop to the right. Right hip can come underneath of you. Turn your head to the left. Close your eyes. Maybe using that right hand to pull the left knee over. And then lengthen the sides of your hips towards the top of your mat. Pull your belly button back up and in. Bring it back to center. Take it to the opposite side. Both knees over towards the left. Hip underneath of you. Maybe left hand's catching the outside of that right knee. And then bring those legs all the way back up to center. Let's rock and roll it all the way up into a seated position. We're going to set ourselves up for a little bit of a restorative variation of pigeon. And I find props can be really helpful for this. So if you have blocks or even a pillow or a blanket, go ahead and grab that now. We're going to come to downward facing dog. Just make sure you have that block handy. And you're going to extend the right leg up and back. And then step the right foot forward. So the right foot is behind your left wrist. Right knee is behind your right wrist. And then grab that block and slide it underneath of your right hip. So even if you pretty easily come all the way down to the floor, go ahead and grab something to place underneath of your foot or underneath of your hip. Let that right foot soften. Take that left leg just a little bit further back. And then very slowly start to lower your forearms down to the floor. We're going to be here for a hot minute, so find something that's sustainable. If you needed to add extra propping, you can. Relaxing the back of the neck, let your gaze fall down in between your arms. You can even close your eyes softly. I know I find that if I'm holding myself up the whole time that I start to feel like my neck and my shoulders are doing a whole lot of work. So as the body begins to open, maybe you can slide your arms forward and rest your forehead on a second block or a pillow. But remember that in our restorative and our yin postures, we're looking to create ease in the body. We're moving into the connected tissue. No rush to come to the end result, so take your time.
And whether we know it or not, we know the same language that our body is speaking. If something's screaming at you, it probably means that you're working harder than you need to. See if you can begin to focus on your exhale a little bit more. Breathing in on a count of 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. This time a little longer on that exhale. Breathing in and out. 4, 3, 2, 1. If the mind starts to wander, draw it back to the breath. Sometimes that counting is a really helpful way to stay anchored in the present. Five more breaths in this posture. Notice if there's anywhere that's kind of like your hidden blockage, your hidden habit of tension. See if you can find that spot and weed it out. Take your time coming out of the posture. Coming out of yin posture slow, super important. Start to walk the hands back towards the leg. And if you're on that block, go ahead and lift the block out from underneath of your right hip. Drop your right hip all the way down to the floor. And sweep your left leg all the way up and around so that you're crossing at your knees. Some of us might find that it's easier to get into this pose, which is Gomukhasana, by walking the hands forward and kind of sliding that left knee more over the top. Some of us might find that from seated, this is going to cause a little bit too much pain. So one option is sitting on a block. Another option is coming down onto your back, catching the outer edges of your calves, ankles, or feet. If you're taking it from a seated position, a little different than the way we would take it in a traditional vinyasa class, you're really letting the body round forward. So you're letting your erector muscles get kind of the oppositional shape from what they're used to being in. And what that means is that by moving them in the opposing direction, we're kind of juicing everything. We're rehydrating muscles that often get, really dehydrated. And when they get dehydrated, they toughen up. We get adhesions between our muscles and our fascia. Let your chin come to rest on a block or a stack of blocks, or maybe even let it come all the way down to that top knee. Maybe a little rock side to side. And then completely letting go. Feel the back boundary of your body, the parts of the body that are making contact with the floor starting to spread, softening like they were made of liquid. Feeling the press of your rib cage and your belly against your leg, and feeling the way that breath wraps around and kind of fluffs the back of your loins, the part of your core that's kind of to the left and right of your lower back. Soften your lips away from one another and your teeth. And then start to walk the hands back up the mat towards the legs, rolling up your spine. And let's open the legs out wide into a V. So you're reaching through your heels right to left. You're coming into a seated position if you're not already. Some folks might find placing elbows on blocks is the best option. Maybe you're walking that block a little bit more forward and bringing your forehead onto it. Or maybe you're coming up with a stack of blocks. And then you can let your feet relax. You can let your toes relax, your inner thighs, the back of your neck and your shoulders. It can be tempting to want to muscle your way into it, but to the best of your ability, just let time do its job. Very slowly start to walk your hands back up the mat, rolling up your spine. You're going to bring your hands to the outsides of your knees to draw your legs closer together. So take your time and kind of fold your legs, cross your ankles, and step back to your downward facing dog so we can set ourselves up for side number 2. Hips are going to lift up and back. Left leg lifts. Left knee comes behind left wrist. Left ankle behind right wrist. Same thing on the opposite side, and if you needed a little extra propping, grab another block, grab an extra blanket. And remember that you're fighting an option that doesn't feel like it's forcing the body into a shape it's not ready for. So you might have those toes at an angle. There he is. We lost you. You didn't miss too much. We're just getting into pigeon pose on side number 2.
Sorry, Liz, lost the power here in my house.
No rush. You missed like 2 seconds of a transitional pose, so don't worry about it. It won't leave you uneven. You're gonna step that left foot up to the space between your hands. So left foot behind left wrist. Yeah. And then grab that block so you've got a little support. And then whenever you're ready, starting to let your body fold forward. And really feeding that idea of softness, especially into all of that juicy connective tissue around the left hip. Maybe even imagining that gravity was acting more heavily on your body than the rest of the world. When we hold tension in the jaw, there's normally tension in the hips, so come to that. Again, finding that softening around your mouth, maybe even letting your tongue soften to the bottom of your mouth. Close your eyes if you haven't already, and really start to let your awareness move away from what's happening in the space around you, and instead moving into the landscape of your body, kind of falling into the flow of your blood, of lymph, the passing of your inhales and your exhales, the beat of your heart.